Well, someone. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another exciting edition of the Geek Gauntlet podcast. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan, and I have two of the finest gentlemen in all of podcasting right here with me tonight. First, let me head over to the OG co-host, Shaw. How you doing, man?
I'm good, sir. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. I can't complain. Now, we're going to go over to the new person, the new co-host for the Geek Gauntlet, the one who always reminds you guys, are you ready to run the gauntlet? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gene Emerson. Gene, how you doing, bro?
Great. I'm doing well tonight. And as you can tell, I got the geek glasses on and I'm ready to run that Geek Gauntlet tonight.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys, before we get into everything tonight, there's something I want to show off to you guys. As you know, we're part of geeknewsnow.net, and they have a podcast over there that I think everyone should know about. It's called the Hindsight 2020 podcast. Let me pull up a quick picture. That's the 2020 Hindsight podcast over on geeknewsnow.net. They discuss popular movies, Short Circuit, Superman, Batman, things of that nature. Let me show you a picture of the crew over there. That funny picture of the crew David sent me. So definitely check those guys out. Hopefully we'll have them on the show pretty soon, as our shows are still kind of similar. Hopefully we'll have them on the show. Again, that's the 2020 Hindsight podcast on geeknewsnow.net. Definitely check those guys out. Oh, my goodness gracious. Also, I want to give a couple of shout outs very, very quickly. First, shout out to our friends over at HyperX Gaming. Also, shouts out to our people over at Metallic Dice Games. Thank you guys for everything you do for the Geek Gauntlet as well as geeknewsnow.net. We truly do appreciate you. All right. But let me do this, and then we will get into the news. All right, Shaw, you are the driver of the news and topics train. So let's go ahead and get started. We are about to run the gauntlet. Let's roll.
Yes, sir. We got some pretty big stuff happening this past week. We got, matter of fact, today, apparently Michael B. Jordan to produce a Static Shock movie, apparently. Now, I don't know if he's done any producing. Maybe he has, but I'm interested. What do you guys think about that?
I'm very interested due to the fact that I liked the Static Shock cartoon growing up. I thought it was a very unique character. So yeah, definitely interested.
I thought Static was a little bit more real in the comics than so the show, but I'm still very interested to see where this takes off.
Yeah, all right. Speaking of something taking off, we got a casting news for Doctor Strange 2. Let's see, Chitty, however you spell that, Gomez, from Babysitter's Club fame, will be joining. The character she'll likely be playing is a character named America Chavez, who been in the comics lately, like past 5-6 years or whatever. One of those American type, Captain America type characters they had for a while. The only thing is that the actress is a bit young compared to how she's perceived in the comics, and also a little lighter skinned than she should be, which appears to be a bit of an issue, but whatever, we'll see. What do you guys think about that?
I would have to say for everything, like, there's always been like duplicate Miss Marvel, Captain America type characters throughout Marvel universe. You're never going to find the correct skin tone, age, so you're going to try to hit the mark the best you possibly can, and it all depends on what they're going to go for within the Marvel MCU and how they're going to play it in, because we've seen people come in when they were little kids, and then by the time Endgame came, they changed up the actor or whatnot. So it's totally, this could be just a one-off. Who knows? until we start seeing the movie.
I always thought that the appearance does count somewhat, but if you nail the acting, I think that's the most important thing. You nail the acting, and if you can do that, I think it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of an actor getting nailed, that sounded better in my head. So the actress that used to play Patty Spivot from The Flash had a bit of an interview explaining why her character was dropped from the show so quickly. Apparently, she was supposed to be for the whole season, but she had gotten picked up for a new series. I think it was CSI or something like that. But she still arranged it so that she could be, do the rest of the contract, the rest of the season. However, turns out that one of the producers, Andrew Kreisberg, didn't like that. So, tossed her in a train, said goodbye. We all know that two seasons later, Andrew Kreisberg would have been fired for other reasons, let's just say.
Yes.
Yeah, so this leaves the question of what would have happened if she would have stayed, like what the story would have been, how things would have ended, and everything. What do you guys think of all this? What do you guys think?
I think sometimes depending on how, and this gets down to like even with these shows, you get comic book show, it could be NCIS, it could be anything really, and you get an actor that gets picked for another show, and they're in the middle halfway to their contract, and one producer doesn't like another producer, or one show doesn't like another show. Well, what do you do, right? And you get into where writers and executive producers were just like, get like, well, we can just kill them off. And they killed them off in such a way. And then you think back, well, what if they had had that character within? Maybe that would have been different. We don't know because we weren't, in the writer's head. I don't know how well that character would have played continuing on anyways. I think there was you could feel it with some characters that are only going to last as long as their contract. And you could tell she was coming to that end of her contract anyway. So it's like, where were they going to go anyways with the character? So it happens. It's Hollywood.
The question is, do you think she'll be back?
Never say never, but I mean, they probably won't because the whole, Wes Iris stuff. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'd like to see her return. We'll see.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot. I don't know anyone who really likes Iris like that. So, could you? And I doubt if it happens, but could you actually see Barry dropping Iris and getting back with her again?
Maybe. I mean,
devil's advocate, man. Devil's advocate.
Given the right circumstances, maybe. I mean, there's definitely story stuff left dangling in the air there. So,
yep.
Maybe one day she'll come back after graduating from thingy, whatever, and
and there's always that with everything, like even Marvel, they all have different universes. So in an alternate universe somewhere, they're together.
Yes.
Speaking of an alternate universe, see, that one actually works. Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins are going to be teaming up to do a movie revolving around Cleopatra. It's supposed to be some sort of epic or whatever. Sounds interesting. There was a little bit of backlash before Gal being cast as the Egyptian Cleopatra, which, she's Lebanese. That's pretty close. Like, she looks, close enough and everything like that. And so, yeah, I mean, plus, isn't Cleopatra not even Egyptian, though? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I know nothing.
I'm not quite sure on my history on it. I know she was like a mixed breed of I think it was like Indonesian.
I think she was too.
Yeah.
Also, another character that may or may not be a god or demigod or whatever.
Well, and it sounds like this is like a reboot. Is it like a reboot of the movie Cleopatra? I'm assuming. how many times have we seen Hollywood do this now? Like, I think we're scraping in 2020, and I think 2020 and beyond. I'm just going to say this for Hollywood, they're getting to a point now. It's like, okay, so what can we either remake, or what has been so far gone away from the original that were so good movies? They're classics for a reason. There's a reason why you're supposed to, see these movies before you die. Like, there's a list of 100 movies you're supposed to watch before you die. And I know Cleopatra is on that list. And the original Cleopatra is, to be honest, for some people, if you're not big on a history buff, or if you don't like, those types of movie, it can get a little boring. It's like 3 hours long. But it's a very good, solid movie. It's, written well, everything. I can get why somebody would go, hey, it's been 40, almost 50 years from the last time we've seen it. Let's reboot that. Nobody will notice. You know what I mean? As long as it's done correct, I will say this. As long as it's done correct and you sort of keep to some of the original source material, I'm not saying do a shot for shot. Mm-hmm. We've seen movies that do that, and then it totally ruins it. As long as it's close enough and throws some cues to the original, let's see what they do. I'm willing to see that.
Real quick, guys, I am reading the comments on the side over here. Brandon Randall, longtime fan Brandon Randall, says the chick that plays Wonder Woman it casted for the role of From Jerusalem. So,
okay, cool. Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So, and hold on 1 second. What I want to do, I want to take a quick break and let everybody know about the Huddle podcast, which you can find on Pinfall Productions every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Let me show you that.
No, there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know you are flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross.
Catch the Huddle podcast on Pinfall Productions every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Catch myself, Josh, and Tommy. So definitely check us out there. All right, Shaw. Sorry for interrupting. Go right ahead.
No problem. So we got some pretty interesting news / rumors that got debunked. So it's been reported that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in talks to play their version of Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3. It was reported that it was signed, deal done, but then Sony themselves said no, debunked that nothing is signed. There is a source, however, saying talks are still happening and that Toby is the only holdout. He's like, still waiting and stuff. Yeah. Yes, the movie will be starting to film pretty soon. And yeah, there's also a rumor that Miles Morales will be in Spider-Man 3. Rumor, we'll see.
And like I was saying, and I read that article that I know William had put up on the page, on the Geek Gauntlet page, that Sony itself really didn't either. They said it was like unconfirmed. So the sort of that even itself states, because if they were not in talks or they didn't even think that they were going to be part of it, they would have just said, yeah, that's total rumor, that's BS. And they would have just, totally dropped it. With saying unconfirmed, it's sort of like there could be somebody's holding out or somebody's still in talks or something's going on. So definitely can't wait to see this movie. Now, there's a lot of Spidey fans completely enthralled and they want to see where this is going.
Yes, that's right. Make it happen, Toby. Yes, hashtag make it happen, Toby. Yes, I agree. I agree. I thought it was a done deal too when I first saw that come up, and now they said it's not confirmed. So,
Well,
man,
when
yeah,
that's not confirmed, that doesn't necessarily mean, and it's like the guy wrote in the article, that doesn't necessarily mean that's like it's not going to happen,
right,
because that's sort of like them trying to tease it to you. We're just waiting for this guy, or we're just waiting for that guy, sort of to get done. There's talks or something going on, so it really lets the rumor mills go. But at the same time, it's like, well, we can't confirm or deny. You know what I mean? It keeps
right,
their hands sort of clean.
right.
All right. Speaking of Miles Morales, we got some news about the Miles Morales game. First off, apparently there will be a PS4 version, so I can wait a bit before buying PS5. I ain't got the money for that yet. Plus, aren't the pre-orders like sold out right now or something?
Yeah, I think the pre-orders are gone.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wait a good year or so when that shit goes down. Yeah. Anyway, you also got some clips from the Miles Morales game. Apparently, there's going to be introducing of a spider cat. Just a cat with a spider mask on it that at some point during a finisher will just jump on somebody while you smack them.
My goodness.
We got a clip of the first boss will be Rhino.
Oh,
We got a little gameplay, looks pretty cool. And yeah, all in all, of the clips we've gotten so far, looks interesting. We got to see New York in Windsor, so a little change to the map from the original.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, we know that we got the Tinkerer as another main villain, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. What do you guys think?
I think it's about time. Well, it's Miles Morales. It's about time. We're starting to get more of the Spideyverse stuff. I enjoyed the animated Spideyverse movie. So definitely Miles needs to be a focus if you're moving on into the MCU anyways. We're getting to that point now. It's 10 plus years. You can't keep. I know movie wise and video games, we've really connected with the originals of Marvel, your foundation. Now it's the time to let people know about some of these back characters, like Young Hulk, She-Hulk, all the other characters that sort of will be taking center stage as this new MCU starts. So that's usually how it goes, because once you start making the movies and start getting them in front, people want material. So it's what better way? So if there is this, like I said, if there is this rumor that Miles is going to be a part of the new Spider-Man movie, what better way to do it than to give him a game, put him in the movie, take those nods and do those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I agree.
All right. Now we finally got a full trailer for the Monster Hunter game. Well, did you guys see it?
Yeah, the one with Mila Jovovich and T.I., the rapper. Yep.
Full trailer. Got some pretty decent monsters looking. Look pretty good, like compared to the original game. I still don't like the whole modern day soldiers placed there. I mean, you could have easily told a story with the actual Monster Hunters, Like,
That's
basically, yeah.
It feels to me, and when I was seeing the trailer, I'm like, oh, they're doing it again. It's like Resident Evil done again.
Yeah.
Like you took this great movie franchise, or this great game franchise, love it, and I know it's set very much in medieval lore / modern day, utopia. It's got its lore as it goes through. You got to, once again, it's like we say all the time, you got to take those nods to your source material. Yeah, you got the great monsters, and yeah, you got some of the lore in there, like how these monsters are showing up, but you really just can't put every time, okay, so we got big bad monsters, we're going to go with military. Military is not all the time military works. You could have easily put this in a dystopian, post-apocalyptic, these guys got to go fight these monsters because it's a livelihood thing or money or economy or something, and people would still buy it because at least you're keeping to said source material. But it does overall look good. Like the actor choices, again, Mila Jovovich, we've seen her how many different times in in Resident Evil, so she will deliver in the action part of things.
I think so too.
So you're definitely getting a bang for your buck, but hopefully they don't do a Resident Evil whoops, if you will.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of a trailer for a movie that came out of nowhere, we got a trailer for a new movie called Jiu-Jitsu, starring Nicolas Cage, where
And Tony Jaa.
where an alien comes to Earth and a whole bunch of jiu-jitsu fighters have to fight and survive or whatever.
Just no. You don't have to read anything else. Just no. No.
When I seen this trailer,
oh my God,
I heard this,
man.
and the guy who put the description when I seen this was like, it's like Predators meets like Face Off type thing, and the movie's called Jiu-Jitsu. A buddy of mine, when I put this up, I love his comment. This goes out straight out to shout out. Quote from Vince Kane was, "Nowhere is there jiu-jitsu in this movie," and there isn't.
Just no, man. Just no.
It's like, do you remember Morgan? You remember the old movie there, Sorcerer's Apprentice with Nicolas Cage? Yep. It feels like that with martial arts.
It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Anyway, as we move from the stupidity of that movie, I want to let you guys know that you can catch the Paradigm Shift Wrestling Podcast with myself, Gene, Rob, Josh, and Tommy every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And let me show you what that looks like. And don't forget, every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, catch myself, Mr. Gene, Josh, Tommy, and Professor Rob for the Paradigm Shift Wrestling Podcast, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Pinfall Productions. All right,
and we can give a little tidbit. This week, we are doing a spotlight on the one and only Paul Heyman. So let's definitely check that out.
Oh, that's going to be some good stuff. All right, Shaw, go ahead and continue, my friend.
Yes, sir. Now, we got some news about Star Trek Discovery. They have been picked up for a 4th season, so after the season ends, they'll have another season. I'm currently waiting until December to binge watch it, so see when that happens. See, we also got some big casting news. A Sarah Shaji or whatever will be joining the cast in of Black Adam in a mysterious role. Maybe Isis, maybe Hawk Girl. We've been hearing that was something that's going to be there.
It'd be cool to see Isis.
Yeah, we'll see. Last thing I got as far as news concerned, on this day, 19 years ago, that's feel old, Smallville premiered. 19 years ago.
Now, I think people sort of kind of understate that because Smallville was the show that spawned pretty much everything we know today.
Yeah,
and I think that show gets a little understated because without Smallville, we have no CW. We have no Arrowverse. We have nothing without that show.
Yeah. Yep.
And just to go caps on that, I remember, and probably William here remembers, before Smallville, you had shows like the Great Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Yep.
You did have, I think there was another live action Superman show prior to that, but it was like Lois and Clark, the Great Adventures of Lois and Clark. Like after they stopped shooting that show and that went off the air, it was a long time before you ever seen anything live action for Superman. So when we got Smallville, it was like, okay, you know, where's this going? And they were really saying, okay, we're going to go into the origins of Superman. This is a backstory. We're going to tell those formidable years and all this. And everybody at the beginning, I remember a lot of people are like, this ain't going to be good. It's not going to be, you know, the show's going to be, you know, your typical teenage show. And I was sort of one of those people like, I can't wait to see it, see what they bring. What are they going to do? Because you never really seen any of this in the comic. Only for a little bit of flashbacks here and there at that point. So it was like, okay, maybe this is going to give us those, you know, stories of in between. How did Lex and Clark actually, you know, why are they so hated? Why was there the hatred? Stuff like that. So telling all these little backstory pieces. And I thought it was really great. So 19 years ago, I remember that. I remember when it came on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And you saw a lot. You saw, I call her Pseudo, but you saw Pseudo Supergirl at the time. You saw the JSA when they came through. It was a very good. The only complaint I really have, you never officially saw Wellen put on the suit.
No,
officially you never saw it.
Yeah. Unless you read the season 11 comics.
Mm-hmm. You never officially saw it on the
show. I think we all got after about season 5, we all got used to hearing that song. We're just like, can you please turn it right now? We didn't have Netflix where it would tell you, do you want to skip the intro?
Oh yeah, and I forgot. You also got the Flash.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you also got.
You got a lot of different stuff. You had a lot of the basics and base for what we're getting now in the Arrowverse. So really helped CW create all these other shows. So without Smallville and the success it had, you would not get the CW and how jam-packed it is now.
Exactly. All right, Sean, what else you got, buddy?
It is time to move on to the topics.
Okay.
All right, first up, MCU women through the years. So, through the years, we have had a lot of strong female characters in the MCU. From Pepper Potts, Betty Ross.
Yep.
Let's see. The first introduction of Black Widow, which then became the year that everybody dressed up as Black Widow for Halloween and Comic-Con. Let's see.
And guys, just to let you know, we're going to get into our main topic in a minute. Strongest women in fiction. We'll get to our main topic in just a second. Go ahead, Sean.
Yes, sir. Let's see. What's her name? Natalie Portman's character. I forgot her name.
Oh, Natalie Portman.
Jane Foster.
Yeah, Jane Foster.
Yeah.
Different. Who's going to be showing up? Who's going to be showing up again in the MCU?
Yeah.
And you might see her twice. Because she's going to be doing Thor, then she might do that new iteration of Avengers. The all female cast.
Yeah, maybe.
So she might be in that too. So
we've had Scarlet Witch. We've had Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Then you go to
you can't leave out Hill. Mm-hmm. She's been there even from the beginning of the Avengers. So
yeah.
Then on the TV side, you got Sky, aka Daisy, aka Quake.
Yep.
Gemma, Agent May.
You count Gemma?
Yeah, I count Gemma. What do you mean you count Gemma? Yes, I count Gemma. Yes, I count Gemma.
Why? Why do you count her?
Extremely intelligent. She'll pull out a gun really quick and easy. I mean, yes, I count Gemma.
Look, May, I get May. May's a badass. Gemma?
Gemma has her moments.
Bruh.
Gemma has her
Keep
moments.
moving on there, chat.
Keep moving on. But real quick, I want to say shout outs to everybody in the chat. I want to thank the League of Darkness guys for coming out once again. You guys always come out before, so I appreciate that. Everybody from the Facebook page, thank you. Thank you for Facebook in general. Thank you for coming out tonight. I do appreciate it. My boy KW from the League of Darkness, he said Scarlet Witch. So yeah. Scarlet Witch is popular. She's up there, and she's more deserving than Gemma. Anyway, go ahead.
Right. Got Victoria Hand, who apparently the actress that played Victoria Hand was the doctor whose fault it was in Deep Blue Sea.
Oh yeah,
That's her apparently.
You're right. That's her. You're right.
We got Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones. I was just trying to say that. Yeah.
Rosario Dawson. Yeah, Rosario Dawson's character, Elektra.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
we can't forget Gamora and Nebula. Can't forget those ones from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Also Mantis, who came late. So.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
So yeah, MCU has had many strong female characters.
We can't even forget Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Angry girl.
My boy, KW in the chat, Lady Death.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, MCU has had many strong female characters. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they have a lot of female characters there, and yeah. See, Captain, as long as Captain Marvel, I think she gets a little overstated sometimes, but I get it because she is powerful, she is strong. I get it, I understand it, but I don't know, man, because to me, when she became binary, I loved her as binary. For some reason, I just loved her because she was just overall OP as binary. But as Captain Marvel, she showed a lot of human side. She showed a lot of weakness side. I don't know. But it's really up to interpretation.
Yeah, but in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, TV universe, Marvel has always had strong female presence. I think a little bit stronger female presence than DC, just with the name of characters that you had. Because if you look through even if you look through I'm not going to say the road gallery of villains and good guys, but if you just look through DC in a general context to Marvel has more females that are playing in specific roles, and you're not just going with people who have abilities and powers and whatnot. There are just regular, everyday, average, soldier or whatever that plays a key role within Marvel more than you see in DC. You know what I mean? So I just got to give it to, like I said, there's a lot of powerful women in all of the comics, but Marvel, I think it captures a little bit more of that.
Yeah, right.
They give them more of a purpose. You only get a few from DC that has that general overall purpose in a storyline. You get your Wonder Womans, you get your Hawk Girls, you get your even Vixens sometimes, but as a whole, Marvel has more of a concrete storyline with their females, I would say, than DC would.
I also have to say, like, just in the comparison, there's more equality in Marvel with their females than there is with DC. And now I'm not trying to harp saying DC sexist or anything like that. No, right. I'm just saying in a general storyline feel. And that goes to where there's not very many women in the DC universe. So you're sort of, what do you do with them in a storyline? You got to use what you got, right? So, but Marvel just gives them that equality factor better than DC. And makes them look more empowered.
Christopher's overpowered animations in the chat brought up my exact sentiment. Marvel treats every character equally, and when you go back, let's say example for Storm, when she was in that marriage with Black Panther, The only thing you got close to that was Batman marrying Catwoman, and that never materialized. So, yeah, Marvel, I think they do just a hair better than DC in terms of treating everybody equally.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, with that said, I have one question for you all.
Sure.
How underrated is She-Hulk as a character? Because She-Hulk is one of my favorite characters. Like from
I
back
think
in the day.
She-Hulk. No, it's depending on. For me, it's depending on the comic or the era. Like if you look at Ultimate comics, she was used, but she wasn't used correctly. I think that just plays into a lot of people go, oh well, she's a Hulk. Automatically, how can you write a story, right? Well, she's a more diverse character than Hulk if you think about it. Because at the time when they brought her in, she was the first Hulk that actually was intelligent. She could talk. Even though that she transformed into a big hulking green super, hero, she didn't lose intelligence. She didn't lose her person, if you will. It was just she got stronger and got green. That was the only difference.
Yeah.
So, and even throughout the comic, she was underutilized, but there were certain storylines I will give it to her that she shined in, like the whole, her as a lawyer and those court cases. Without certain things like that, you really didn't get to see the diversity of that character. But yeah, I think she's always been underutilized. I hope, if they bring her into the MCU, that they utilize her correctly. It's about time that we start, like I said, giving that love to those next flag bearers. You've made it in the MCU where you're getting rid of the OGs, and people already have comics and they've got all that stuff. Now it's time to get those love to those other characters and shine a light on them.
I think in the comics, she's kind of misdirected in the comics. I think she really hasn't had a purpose in the comics. Now in the animated world, she was used in Hulk's and the Agents of Smash really well, I thought. But in the comics, just misdirected. But overall, she's a great character. Now they have a red She-Hulk that's out there now. So she's a great character. But I would just like to see a direction with her and a consistent direction.
I find she's a lot like, if you're looking over at DC, she's a lot like a character like Cyborg, who gets used okay in anime or in the cartoons, but never really gets used well in maybe a live action, or never gets really used well in comics. They're always sub characters, and they're not really even used for a subplot. They're just there to fill their filler characters from time to time. So I think She-Hulk, with the whole MCU, I hope this will give her, that spotlight, and maybe hopefully some good writers can give her, a really well-rounded comic.
Someone in the chat, Facebook user says, I like how they showed her being promiscuous without slut shaming her. Like the female equivalent of Bruce Wayne and some of the other Playboys. And that's a good point too. I love her as a kid. I just wish she would have a direction. I mean, she's been everywhere. She's been a solo. I think she was an Avenger at one point. She was part of the Fantastic Four. She's sort of kind of been everywhere. She had a relationship with Star Fox at one point.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about when they did that in the comic, and then that led into the whole court case and battle. But yeah.
I kind of wish they had a solid direction for her to be able to use, because she's a fantastic character.
And like we're saying, I think it goes well for some characters. Even if you look at it as the MCU has grown with the movies, it's made certain characters that really didn't have a solid story. Their stuff was all up and down everywhere. It gave writers something more solid to go by. So this is where the starting point was. This is what they were doing in the movies. How can we base off of that and make it better and give them solid, make it solid? And I think when you get a good movie written for her, if somebody can, take all the source material, take take bits here, and create something good, I think that will lead into something more solid for her, and then you'll see an actual direction.
Yep. I do agree. Anything else you got, Shaw?
All right, next up, we got my segments, Debunking Film Theory.
Mm-hmm.
This one be very simple. Debunking the episode about how Clark Kent, as a journalist, is corrupt. Because writing about Superman, he is Superman, Superman stories. Of course, the main problem with that is Clark Kent does not write about Superman.
Nope.
Lois Lane does.
Mm-hmm.
He'll use his powers, sure, get places, write fast and all that, but he does not write about Superman.
Right.
If you look back even to Christopher Reed, Superman, he was writing what they would call in the business fluff pieces. He wrote about cats up in trees and, the local football team losing and stuff like that. Like, even go to Batman versus Superman, they wanted him to cover Gotham versus, Metropolis, the football game. That was what Clark does. Or they will send him out into the field. They'll send him to, Indonesia and places where it's war torn. That's what he does. Never has he ever, that I've ever seen, via comic or movie, even TV show, does he ever write about himself. It's always somebody else. It's either Lois, Chloe, somebody's writing about him, and then later on he gives them the scoop, making their careers better. Because that's, again, going back to the basis of the character of Superman, truth, justice, and the American way, which is always help your fellow man and make them look better than you. So, that's completely debunked right there.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
All right, next up, I have a nice little work versus for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, TV show back in the day, versus Xena, Warrior Princess.
Xena all day. All day.
Okay, so when you say this, are we talking about the characters facing each other, or are we talking about their shows going up against each other?
Facing each other, fighting each other.
Facing each other? Yeah, then Xena all day.
Xena all day.
Xena all day.
All day long. I mean, she was hanging. I mean, good grief. She was hanging in the series. I have all the series down here on my person right now. And the thing about Xena is the fact, as you can see, her first box set.
Yeah.
Right there. She was hanging with gods, guys. She was hanging with Ares and demigods with Hercules in that show. So you have to give it up to her. Not saying Buffy wasn't tough, but I just think between Xena's battle experience and her anointing of pressure points, I Xena all day.
Xena all day, just because, for one, she can hang with the demigods. Two, just the knowledge of battle tactics. She was the warrior princess. There's a reason why she's called the warrior princess. Yeah. It's not because she sat on some throne and then all of a sudden was given a sword and then she commands people around. No, she's in the fight and she knows how to. Buffy, even at the end of the series, Buffy was not the greatest tactician, strategist. She could fight okay, but you know what I mean? Like, she'd still get her butt kicked. How many times did she get her butt kicked?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, just the comparison, not to say that Xena's never got her butt kicked, because she has, but it's a lot harder, and you'll be in a physical battle. So, yeah, Xena all day.
Oh, yeah. All day long. Yeah.
All right, next up, Batgirl versus Batwoman. Who's the better character?
Batgirl.
Barbara Gordon all day. Barbara Gordon, because she was very first, even when you go back to watching, when you first hear about her, when it was back in the good old Adam West days. Do you know what I mean? It was Barbara Gordon.
Bam.
Yeah.
What if we're talking about Stephanie Brown, Batwoman?
That makes it tough. That makes it tough. Stephanie Brown. That's tough.
Then that's a coin flipper there. I would have to say.
That's tough.
Okay. Cassie Kane.
Oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I'd still go with that. I'd still go with Batgirl.
I'll still go with Cass. I'll still go. Yeah,
because it's just, if you look at it, if we're talking Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, she had the most experience. She was around in the Bat family the longest. Even though that, yes, Joker does sort of take her out for a while, she becomes the Oracle, and later on then becomes Batgirl again. She had the experience. She was still more intelligent. She proved herself that she was a better detective than even not Dick Grayson, but she was better detective than most of the other Robins that came after. You know what I mean? Because they all were connected to Oracle. Yep. So, you know what I mean? Like, your three OG detectives in the Bat family was always Dick Grayson, Bruce Wayne, and Barbara Gordon, hands down. So,
got a question from the chat. Christopher Overpowered Animations. What do you think about Marvel Silver Sable?
I like Silver Sable.
Mm-hmm. She's like,
when they were talking about doing a Silver Sable Black Cat movie, after playing the video game on Marvel's Spider-Man video game, I was interested in that.
Yeah.
I think when they're talked about seeing the movie and that coming out, I would like to see that. That would be interesting, because you're getting more in depth into characters that were either hinted at in comics later on, or in video games, or even in cartoons that we've seen. And we're like, okay, well, I want to see more. Like, for example, one of my favorite villains that I've never seen on the screen for Spider-Man is Kraven the Hunter, and I would love to see that. I think Kraven is a well-rounded character, and he would definitely give depth to the Spider-Man franchise.
Which Kraven? Power Kraven or non-power Kraven?
I'm talking about the Kraven that we saw, for me anyways, if I'm basing it from going back to the cartoon, the Kraven the Hunter, you know what I mean? Like that type Kraven, you know what I mean? He was addicted on just the hunt, the whole idea of the hunt. That was his whole thing, you know, getting Spider-Man, getting this guy. I would love to see it.
Gerard Butler as Kraven.
That could be done.
That can be done. Yes, I like that. I like that.
Yes. All right, last piece of topic I have. So I got a little information recently that interested me about maybe making a remake of a movie. The remake of a movie being Charlie and the Charlie Factory. Because apparently, originally in the original book, Charlie was a black kid. And I think that's an interesting angle that they probably should have done at some point, since we've had one remake already. As shitty as that remake was, yeah.
Well, to me, I don't look at, and you guys can believe my theory on this or not. I've always looked at, okay, so we got the first movie with Gene Wilder, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, as the original. This, the one that they called the remake with Johnny Depp, I don't look at it as a remake, but I look at it as a second movie, because there was always two books to the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. There was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and then there was the Glass Elevator, the Great Glass Elevator. And that, to me, was what this reboot Charlie felt like. More of those, because more of the Glass Elevator stuff is in that one, and it played well for Tim Burton. Even Tim said, he goes, when he was reading it, it played well to that his style. That's why you've seen more of the Glass Elevator, and why they were always in the Glass Elevator instead of some of the other stuff that Willy Wonka has invented. So to me, that's how I've always looked at it. It was almost like the backstory for Willy Wonka, if you will.
All right, guys, before we go any further, I want to tell you guys about the Top 25 podcast. Join Tommy and the crew as they go over everything in college football every Saturday morning on Pinfall Productions. And let me show you what you're in store with. All right, and now as we transition from that, and don't forget every Saturday, Pinfall Productions, the Top 25 podcast. All right, let's go ahead and get into. All right, our main topic of the night. I've been waiting to jump into this. KW from the League of Darkness podcast Sudaka suggested it to me, and I told him at some point we'll make a show about it. We'll pick it back around from a couple weeks ago, and we've done that tonight. Everyone here has their own list, and I showed mine, so hopefully we don't piggyback off the same people. I did mine a little bit different than most. I did some comics, I did some anime characters who I like. So let's go ahead and jump in, get this thing started. Gene, what's your list?
So my list is of my top. I called it the top females in geekdom. Might as well, do something unique because that's just who I am. So I've got on mine. I've got Harley Quinn as one of mine. Love Harley Quinn, always have. I think she's a very unique character. She comes straight from the lovely animated series cartoon. That's where she comes from. Great character. I think it was the greatest character to add towards with the Joker. It worked well. Joker needed somebody. You always need a sidekick at some point. With Batman had Robin, Joker has Harley Quinn. Also, I have Poison Ivy as another one of mine. I also have Batgirl, Batwoman, Jessica Jones, Power Girl, Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, and Catwoman.
Very good list. Very good list. Have no problems with anybody there. Shaw, what about you?
All right. So as far as comic book characters are concerned, my list, pretty short list. We got She-Hulk, Storm, Black Cat, and Sarah Sable together, because the idea of that is awesome. Spider-Gwen is a very awesome outfit.
Yeah.
Molly from The Runaways.
Yeah.
Like that one.
Black Widow.
Yep.
Oracle. Because I think that she's better as Oracle than as Batgirl.
Okay. Yep.
Cassie Kane.
Okay.
Lois Lane.
Okay.
And last but not least, Spider-Woman.
Good picks.
Yeah. Awesome picks. Let me go over mine real quick. And I did mine a little bit different. I did comics and I did anime. For the comic side, KW beat me to one of them. Lady Death. He beat me to that. Emma Frost. Wonder Woman. Mirror. Supergirl. Zatanna. Scarlet Witch. The one KW beat me to. Raven. Rogue.
Yes.
And it's a surprise one for some folks, but I don't think it's a surprise to comic book fans. Hope Summers.
Yep. Awesome one.
On the animated side, won't be any order. Lucy from Elfen Lied, Kayla Khalifa from Dragon Ball Super. I know a lot of folks got issue with Super, including me. Android 18. Ursa Scarlet. I'm just gonna go with, like I said, a few of them.
Yep.
Major Kusanami from Ghost in the Shell. Love her. Masuka from Attack on Titan. She's a badass. I put this not because I believe it, but I think I'll get some heat if I don't. Sailor Moon.
Yep. I would agree. I had to give it to you. No, Sailor Moon is definitely somebody that was. I'll back this. She was iconic, and she was definitely very powerful for anime, especially for us people over here getting that transition from East to West, especially for Western anime. I still like the original, Sailor Moon anime. So, you can shoot at me all you want. Come at me.
Oh man,
my anime list starts with speaking of magical girls, every character from Madoka Magica, Akame from Akame Got Killed.
That's our show.
18, Yoko from Gurren Lagann, Hinata from Naruto, and Lady, that was her name, Lady Cornelia de Britannia from Code Geass.
I have a few more I didn't get out there. Sakura from Card Captors. I know I would hear it if I didn't put any magical girls in this thing. I know I would hear it, which is why I did it. What was it? I can't. Man, come on. Magical Girl Oscar from Magical Girl Oscar. What else? And my last one. Where am I on this? Big Mom from One Piece.
Yeah. Can't forget. I'm going to throw one out there. Bulma from the Dragon Ball Z series. You got to put her in there. She's been there right from day one. You know, her and Master Roshi, the whole flashing.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! I do have an honorable mention. Some of these I think She-Hulk is on my honorable mention. Mary Marvel, and if you go back and look at Mary Marvel, she was in that Black Adam arc, and she got the powers of the Egyptian gods, and all that in that straight black she was in. Oh, that was awesome. That was just awesome. Yang from Ruby is in my honorable mention. I love Yang. Every time she throws a punch, you hear a gunshot. And as Death from a Comedy Kill is just awesome. It's just awesome. I was kind of mad she died at the end of it.
Everybody died at the end of it.
Yeah, no, everybody
except Akame.
Yeah,
everybody else.
Akame lived, and a couple of bad guys.
Everybody else died. Cat Lake was dying.
Yep.
Everybody else
they died, man. They died. Okay, just they died.
Oh yeah, Kitra from Avatar. Oh yeah, my boy KW chimed in again. Kitra from Avatar.
Oh, Katara.
Yeah, Katara. My bad. Yeah.
Toph.
There you go.
Toph Beifong. Lin Beifong. Even Korra. Because as poor of a character she was still a badass.
She was a poor character, though. She was a poor character. She really was. All right. Is there any before we go? Let's go ahead and get some plugs out here. Gene, want to get some plugs out?
Sure. Well, we don't want to forget that we were going to talk about some power couples there, boys.
Forgot about that. Thank you.
So I'll go. Some power couples that we want to go over that we can talk about quickly before we get out of here. My three are Captain America and Black Widow, Deadpool and Death, and the OG Catwoman Batman.
Deadpool and Death is so funny. That's so funny. My gosh.
For me, I got Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. I like them in the comics. I like them on the show. Yeah.
Mine were the only one that I have Black Adam and Isis. I think that would be probably the best one. I think that would be the best one. Equally yoked, so to speak.
So with the shout outs there, Mr. Morgan, I will shout out one of the shows that we missed, and that is the Underground Podcast, where you can find me and Tommy at 10 o'clock Central Time, and we go discuss over topics like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, and like we've been doing, I guess there's going to be a poll. Mr. Tommy will be putting a poll up, and we're going to be finding out what we're going to talk about this coming Thursday. That's Thursday at 10 o'clock Central Time, and you can find that right there on Nonstop Pod, the Underground Podcast, or you can find it right here on Pinfall Network.
And real quick, guys, before we let Shaw get out his plugs, just sort of remind you of all the shows you can catch on Pinfall Productions. There you go. NCAA Top 25, 8 a.m. on Saturdays. The Huddle, 9 p.m. Central Time on Tuesdays. Paradigm Shift, 9 p.m. Central Time on Wednesdays. Total Nonstop Podcast, 8 p.m. on Thursdays. Geek Gauntlet, This Fine Show, 7 p.m. Central Time, 10 Eastern. Please like us and follow us on all our Facebook pages and YouTube. If you'd like to make your podcast dreams come true, get in touch with us at Pinfall. Also, real quick, as I say that, I also want to again shout out the 2020 Hindsight Podcast over on geeknewsnow.net. Want to shout those guys out. Check them out. Very good podcast over there. Here go the kids one more time in their Ghostbuster outfit.
I'll do them that.
David, my friend, you should be ashamed of yourself for what you did to these kids, man. That was just wrong. That was just wrong. You didn't put Slimer anywhere or anything like that. Oh my gosh, man. That's just wrong. Also, shouts go to our good friends over at Hyper Gaming. Thank you for everything that you do for us here at the show. Also, shout outs to Metallic Dice Games. Thank you for everything that you do for geeknewsnow.net. We do appreciate you. Let me go back real quick. We got some chats coming through. Let me see. Let me check anything out here. Oh, we good. We good. All right. Shaw, shameless plugs, man. What you got, bro?
Yes, sir. So first off, please join my Facebook page, Justice League Memes of America. Memes, jokes, pictures, and all that kind of stuff. Also, I was bribed with fresh cookies from my nephew to give him a shout out, Jonathan Marrero. Love you, boo. And yeah, that's everything. Those are some good cookies. Those are some good cookies. I'm telling you. He gave me a bunch too. Like
what did he give you? What kind did he give you?
Some chocolate chip cookies, fresh baked.
Freshly baked chocolate chip cookies, you can get a shout out. There you go.
You can't beat that, man. You can't beat that. Very quickly, tomorrow night, GNN_gaming on Twitch. I will be streaming once again. I have no idea when I'm playing. I'm thinking Get Scan Pack, but don't hold a brother to it. I will tweet that out on my Twitter and on my Facebook when I'm going to play. So if you want to check me out, GNN_gaming over on Twitch tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be over there doing my thing. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. We had a lot of people here, just check us out, seeing what we're about, seeing what we're doing. Thank you for everybody who stopped by. Thank you to all the League of Darkness guys. I appreciate you guys being here. My boy Kakarot, KW, Stan Katz. If I forget anybody, please forgive me. But we had a good turnout tonight from the league, so thank you very much. Christopher Overpower Animations was here. Oh man, just had a great time tonight. I do appreciate all of you, all the support that you guys show us. I do appreciate that. And if there is nothing else, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We do appreciate you. And we'll see you again next week right here on the Geek Gauntlet podcast. And remember,
and as we like to say,
yes,
you just ran the gauntlet.
There you go. There you go. I'm gonna pants you to say it, so we're good. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you guys again next week. Everyone have a good, safe week, and take care.